Today, I'm going to talk about trust factor and all the nuances and hidden stuff. It's been 8 years since it was introduced, and still nobody knows how it really works. And that's by design. See, the thing about trust factor is, it's actually pretty complicated. There's no universal answer when it comes to getting better trust. There's a lot of different factors that come into play, and no one can give you a simple answer without knowing the details of your specific case. So does getting back-lived affect your trust? Well, whether it's by association or causing it yourself, the answer is no. Which is weird since you'd think this would be something that actually did affect your trust, especially if you get multiple VAC lives. But it doesn't. The reason is probably because Valve knows VAC Live is still broken and unreliable, so they don't trust it enough, no pun intended. Let's start with the best way to improve your trust factor: spending money. Spending money on your Steam account will usually improve your trust. If you're wondering how much exactly you need to spend, there's no random arbitrary number. Obviously, spending $20 isn't enough, and you're going to need to spend more than that. Valve loves money, specifically when it comes to giving money directly to them versus buying third-party games on Steam. I've noticed spending money on keys or major pick'ems or operation passes back when we had those is way more effective than buying games from other developers, like Elden Ring or Call of Duty. Of course it still helps, but spending money directly in CS2 helps more. If you're wondering why in my other video I said spending money doesn't help your trust factor, let me clarify. If you just made your account last week or a month ago, spending money won't do anything. If your account has bottom-of-the-barrel trust from either raging for 50 games or using some detected cheat, spending money won't matter. It only helps if your account isn't blacklisted or brand new. If your Steam account is less than a year old, you're gonna be in low trust. It doesn't matter if you cheat or not, or how much money you spend. Your account is too new, and the system doesn't know enough about you. Think of trust factor like your credit score. You can have good credit, bad credit, or no credit. Having no credit is sometimes just as bad as having low credit. You can't lazily cheat the system either. Buying a 10 or 20-year-old account that's been inactive the entire time won't put you in good trust. A 20-year-old account that's been inactive forever is basically the same as an account you just made today. So what can you do if your account is only a year or two old? The answer is simply spending money and just letting time pass and letting your account get older. Buy all the major pick'em stuff, get your weekly XP, and deal with the terrible games. Play casual or deathmatch or retakes, and do your missions. And in a couple of months, your account will be in better trust, and after about a year, it'll be in top-tier trust. You can play matchmaking or Premier, but you're gonna be in a lot of cheater games, and it's not gonna be fun. The million-dollar question is, does getting reported affect your trust? Yes and no. It affects your trust if your account is new or low tier, or if you suddenly just gain a bunch of reports in a short time. This means if you buy some account and you start raging every game for 10 games, you will get that account's trust tanked pretty quickly. Just because you buy some account with medals and good trust factor doesn't mean you can just go monkey mode. Farming reports will usually tank your trust, but if you go inactive on the account for a few weeks, it'll usually go back up. If your account has a bunch of service medals and real hours, then reports barely affect you, especially if you spend a lot of money. It'll give you more protection against reports affecting your trust. The best way to check your trust factor is checking you're looking to play. If you have 20, your trust factor is probably good. If you have 1 or 2 or none, you're in low trust. Now, this isn't always true, but it's a pretty good indicator. Another way is to simply solo queue and see what kind of accounts end up in your game. There's no site or tool that can check your trust factor. These sites that claim to check your trust are just lying to you and giving out random numbers. I hope there's no one this gullible, but you never know. So here's where things get more complicated. Back in CSGO, if you were in North America and you had low trust, it sometimes took 20 to 30 minutes to get a game. And when you finally got a game, everyone would be cheating on welfare accounts. But if you queued Europe, you'd get a game instantly, and more often than not, you'd go against legit players with stacked accounts. They could be closet cheaters, but if they were, they're very disciplined since they just take the loss and get 16-0'd. So why would queuing Europe give you better games? It's because Europe just had way more players and more people that were in the middle. Matchmaking tries to put people with the same elo and same trust factor against each other, but there's not always enough players for the disparity of everyone. Now in CS2, it's kind of become the opposite, where if you're in low trust, North America is better to queue in than Europe. since these days, Europe has so many third world cheaters that can play on the same account for years and not get banned. So if you don't mind the higher ping, you can try queuing different regions, and you may actually get better games. If you're in the United States, for some reason, Chicago servers tend to be the servers where it puts low trust people in. So if you're in queue for a while and you see Chicago, you might be in low trust, and you're about to get put in a game with really good players. If you're in low trust, you should avoid 5 stacking. Matchmaking often tries to punish 5 stacks by putting them against lower trust or higher elo people, in a way to balance it out. If you've ever been in a monkey rage session, you may have noticed how many 5 stacks you get put against. Solo queuing in low trust is a dice roll. You just have to hope the cheaters on your team are better than the cheaters on the enemy team. If you're low trust, queuing with 2 other people seems to be the best way to help mitigate having bad games. Don't 5 stack unless you have a really good team. I know Valve says that queuing with other people will just take the lowest person's trust, but that's not true anymore. Now it tries to add and divide the team's trust to balance it out. So let's say one person has high trust, one person has medium trust, and one person has low trust. It'll put them in around medium trust. If you queue with someone who has black trust, then yeah, you're still going to end up in the worst lobbies ever. There's no mitigating that. So now, let's say your trust factor sucks, but your account is a few years old. You spend money, you buy games, you open cases, you try not to get reported, and yet your trust is terrible. Well, you can always try emailing Valve. If nothing else works, try this, and believe it or not, sometimes they actually do reset your trust. They won't respond to your email, so you won't ever know if they actually did anything or not. Obviously, if your account is low trust because you are raging or being a retard, then no, this won't work, and don't waste your time or Valve's time. Always remember that as long as you're giving Valve your time and money, then it's okay to cheat and win every game.